I hope you've really enjoyed the session. I've got a few little things to talk about. First of all, what we'll do is I'll go over last week's lesson and just very quickly, I'll go through that. Then we'll have our little trunk show. I've done as much as I can just to show you the outcome. Now, you can see that I've used some coloured threads here. I've gone around pieces here. I've done that one on the angle. I've gone around that piece there and there. So if I feel as though I want to get it finished a little bit quicker, then I can do that. It's really good. I've also trimmed, I've just got this little bit here to do, which will probably take me about another half an hour to an hour. And you can see I've gone off a little bit of kilter there. So what I'll do is I might not put any stitching here, but I might just put another row of stitching just down there. You can see for those, I've trimmed it up and so that it looks nice and even. I still haven't ironed the back of it, but I will do that, and I should do that before I finish off the edges. But I wanted to show you also, and just do a little bit of this. This is the blanket, a really rough blanket stitch, and you can see how that just finishes it off. It really does, you know, complete the project. So I'm going to put this under my computer. It's a great mat for a computer. So I've got a lovely wooden table at home that I work on sometimes, and I'm very precious of it. I don't like any marks on it. So this is a really good piece, just a sample piece that I can put my computer on. It's a great size for that. So what you can do, these are great for placemats as well. Once you've done them, especially once you've done the edges, just throw them into the washing machine, take them out, dry them, iron them on the back, and they come up beautifully and they look really, really nice. So there's lots of different ideas. I'm going to be showing you some ideas of what I've done with previous small pieces and also some large pieces, just to give you some ideas. Right, so I didn't get round to doing any of this one. I was going to try and do some stitching on this, but I do apologise, I haven't done that. I'd love to see if anyone did any negative space stitching because I think that looks really good. So. All right. So I wanted to show you a few old pieces of boro. This is a really old piece. This is part of an old futon, and it's just it's a really good. I bought this in Japan on one of my many trips over there, and I just wanted to show you how well it sort of explains what I was talking about, that there are no rules, nothing is expected. Everything that you want to do, you can do. There are no rules. Look, you can see how this one's just done a straight line with a loop on it. There's all different colours of thread, all different colours of fabric put together. And this is a really nice piece. This is actually should go on a wall. You can see how old all these pieces are. They're just, you can see how old that all is. And so this is a really nice piece. It's, I would love to be able to try to do something like that, but unfortunately, I can't get hold of these really old pieces of fabric. And that's why, and as I said, that's why I call what we do boro-inspired, because this is the real boro work, and we can't emulate that very well. You can see this, but this is the coat that I wanted to show you a little bit closer. I did show you on the first lesson, but I just wanted to show you up close some of the beautiful handwork that's here. It was just a means to an end, this originally, just for strengthening old pieces, for warmth, for patching, mending, upcycling, reusing patches, and out of necessity. So this is what this was all about. And as you can see inside, they've used a main piece that looks like that must have been the original coat, and then they've put all pieces on the outside for their decoration. And that was how sashiko started. This was Boro came first, and then sashiko came a little later with the work that the Japanese women did. They were they're so artistic, and then they created designs, and then that well, the rest is history, actually, for those who follow sashiko. Right, so I'm going to show you some, they're the two old pieces that I have, and I use those when I'm teaching just to show you authentic stuff. And then we go on to the boro-inspired pieces that we do. So I'm just going to pick up pieces here that I've done over time, and they should give you some ideas of what you can do down the track by yourself. Now that you've done this bit of boro, you'll be able to go and do any piece of boro that you like. You'll be able to go and do that lovely coat that's on the wall there. If you're a sewer, it's not hard to do. All you do is you cut the pieces, your foundation pieces out. You decorate your pieces with your scraps, then you sew your piece together, or your garment together. So it is not difficult. It's quite easy. This is just a rehash of last week when I said that we can go in all different directions. As you can see, lots of different directions with this one. I really like this piece because I did the whole lot on angles, and I really and that's why I haven't made this piece up into anything, because I really wanted to keep it as a demonstration in my classes. Okay, now I think I may have shown you this one last week too, but this is one that you can do just small pieces and put them into a lovely table runner or a wall hanging. I've combined it with a little bit of sashiko. These were all pre-printed, and that makes a really nice runner. This is a fabulous workshop if you're going to be going to a class to learn both sashiko and boro. You can learn all this in one day. It's and then put it together. I've actually done a workshop on that. It's a really nice piece. The girls that like yellow, I love yellow. A lot of people don't like yellow, but look how that's accentuated the background of the dark fabrics that I've used. And this was a really nice piece of using negative space as well, just a little bit, but not too much. And a good example of using the fraying as well. I've actually, as you can see, what I've done is I've actually come in from the fringed piece, because I like to have that a little bit free for when I do the zigzagging around, so that this doesn't fray anymore. I think it also frames the work when you leave that space next to the fringe. This is a really good method of doing cushions. Like I said the other day, you can just get your pieces, fringe the edges on the back piece, put your zip in, and then you can just stitch these together, wrong sides together, and that makes a really nice cushion. Okay, so I hope that if you want to see that, talk about that a little bit later, we can do that as well. I don't know if I showed you this piece or not last week, but this was a piece that I also, this is a really good example of negative space, and doing multiple layers of fabrics, one on top of the other, creates a 3D effect. I've combined this with sashiko templates that I've designed, and I've also done a little bit of applique. So this is a piece that combines a lot of different elements in it. Sorry. All right, so this is another piece just like the other one, probably got a little bit more content in it, not as much negative space and not as much of the sashiko. These on the edges, these are all from templates that I designed a couple of years ago, and they give you the perfect stitch length And because they were templates, what I did in classes was I encouraged girls to look at designs in a different way and see how many designs they could actually see inside a design. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but you can just use bits and pieces of a design and make your own design up. And that's and we'll be doing that in our Sashiko class that's coming up towards the end of May, which we'll be talking about a little later on. So this is the fringed piece. This is the one. This is another fringe piece that I've made. I love this piece. It's these are all my colours. I just love them. And as you can see, and I'm not sure whether you can actually see, ladies, but very close there is a zigzag stitch, which I did on my sewing machine, just so that it just keeps all the threads together so that it doesn't fray anymore. So I know it's very, very difficult to see that, and I do understand that, but yeah, so that's what that is. So that's the fringed, the zigzag that I was talking about. So that's another piece there, pretty much what we've done in class, but just just using different fabrics. This piece was what we started with, the fringe piece and multiple layers, and I like the fact when you can actually put another piece on top of it, and that gives you that lovely 3D effect, which I really like. I will get round to finishing that one day, and I've just used them plain just to give it a little bit of colour. Some ideas for Christmas. Really, really simple. I've used just a normal plain, rather heavy woven, not loosely woven, I mean, not tightly woven fabric. And you can see where I've actually zigzagged around these so that they don't fray anymore. I've used some Christmas fabric, and then I've got 6 little posters for Christmas. These are a great Christmas gift if you'd like to make some during the year and give them to somebody that would appreciate them. They wash up really, really well. Throw them in the dishwasher, in the washing machine when they get soiled, and they come up looking $1 million. So that's another little quick Christmas gift. And there's the same thing, but they're in the indigo, so you can do those as well. Okay, here's the green piece that the lady was just talking about. So this is the lovely green runner that I treasure so much, and as I've said, look how rough all that blanket stitch is, girls. It's really rough. You know, it serves a purpose and it looks great. It suits this piece, I feel. So if anybody wants to get a photo of this one sent to them, I'm happy to do that. I can send it out to you via email. I'm happy to do that, just to give you some ideas and also some inspiration on that one. I said the green piece was my favourite, and it is. However, this is a quick second. This is another gorgeous piece that I've done many, many years ago, but I put it on my credenza because I just love it. I love seeing it every day. There's another idea for stitching, girls. Just do a little bit of cross stitch over the top there. I've used some shibori pieces that I had, some old Hessian. I've used a little bit of that. Same deal, just gone round it. So I'm just giving you ideas on how to stitch and what type of fabrics that you can use. You can use anything, but because these are my favorite types of fabrics, and they're the fabrics that I'm drawn to, I know that they all work together. And that's the same with you. No matter what type of fabric that you're drawn to, they'll all work really well together. You can see all my stitching there. It's you can see where I've actually stitched around the shibori on the other side. Okay. And this is just the way I like it. I like that organic feel about the piece. I don't want to cover up all this. This is what It's about seeing the stitching, and that's what I love about it. But as I said before, in one of the lessons, you can, if you don't like this look, and a lot of people don't like this look, you can put a backing on it. I've actually got a piece over there which I might show you that I have actually put a border on it, and I've put a backing on it. It's quite nice, but this is my, but everyone is different. You don't have to do what I do, but I'm just trying to give you some ideas. Okay. I've actually done exactly as I have with all the other pieces, but I've actually sewn it into a bind, yes, a binding, and then I've put a backing on it. Okay, so if you don't like the look of the stitching on the back of it, and it's not your style, then this is what you can do as well. You can do this with a run, you can do it with a wall hanging, you can do it with anything. The same with the coasters. If you don't like that rough look on or that stitch look on the back of them, you can actually just put a lovely backing on those as well. So that's what it looks like. Okay, so these are just ideas for you to take on board and then do what you'd like to do with them. Okay, so another fresh idea. I got a nice bag from Astronan, who pre-cut all these lovely bags, little tote bags, and I just did some borrowing circles and attached it to this with a little bit of a running stitch around there. I actually did that on the sewing machine before I sewed the sides up. I've put a little bit of, I don't know if you can see that there, I've put a little bit of sashiko there. I've done some sashiko around the boro pieces. And on the front, we've actually got some boro pieces that I've done here, circles, and I've overlapped them because I think that looks quite attractive. And then I cut a lovely piece of fabric out and I appliqued that. So that's something that you could try with, and that's got multiple mediums in it as well. It's got the boro and the sashiko and the applique. So try that. It's quite a nice little piece. Okay. So here's a lovely tote bag that I'd done many years ago. Also using some negative space, just a little bit, and I've used some Oriental Japanese fabrics. I really quite like these. I'm not a huge fan, but in the right place, I think they look fantastic. And then on the other side, I've actually used a lot more. Same deal, bit of negative space, which I quite like. And that's a lovely bag that I really, really like it. I've actually put a nice Japanese lining in it as well. So, and put some clip-on handles on it. This is a little tote bag that I've done with one of the Asta and Anne projects. This is all pre-made, and the little zipper bag, and it's made of felt. Don't know if you can see that. And I cut out a koi, I applicated on it, and then I put some sashiko around it. And then on the other side, I did some boro. And I love this little purse. It's just a lovely, nice piece. I've put a little handle on it to take out so I can put my phone, my keys, my credit card, a bit of cash, and nice to take out. All right, so I also have here, this is a little telephone pouch. I can put my telephone in there. I can put my credit cards in there, and I can put some cash in there. So and I just need to take that. So my keys, my telephone, and my credit card or my cash in there. And that's something small to carry if I don't want to carry a big bag. All right, so you can do, that's just a long piece of, here we go. This is a smaller one, but it's just a long piece of fabric that I've done that. And then I've pretty much, this is a small piece, but I've just folded it and the same used a blanket stitch to put it all together. So I didn't even need a sewing machine to do that. So if you don't have a sewing machine, you can still make some gorgeous things. Okay. Now I have a lovely friend. Her name is Yazi, from Yazi International, and we've worked together on many things over the years. And I have embellished some of her Yazi bags with some boro. Now, these I've done in workshops, and she's also done quite a few, taken some of my samples with her craft show, the craft shows that she does in America and in Australia, so, and in the UK as well. But that's a way, if you've got some Yazi bags, and she has a lot of them on sale, you can just make them yours by putting your little stamp on them with either sashiko or some boro. It's very, very simple. Do your piece first. I think this one's not adhered to. So this one's actually pinned down. So do your little piece of boro, as the same deal, some lightly woven fabric on the back, do your stitching, and then stick it down and just go through with a little running stitch all the way around there from the inside. Okay, so open it up, and then you can do your little bit of running stitch, okay? So that's a nice way of, if you're a crafter and you go to workshops and retreats and things, just so that that's your bag, okay? Now that individualizes it for you. Oh, here we go. We've got a little pin cushion that you could do. So that's just a tiny little piece of fabric. I've left it plain on the back. I've stitched it together with 2 rows of stitching. And there's my little pin cushion. I wanted to show you about some, I want to show you how you can upcycle some old pieces of clothing. So this is an old jacket that I had sitting in my cupboard, and I hadn't used it for quite a few years. And on a cruise that, when I was teaching, I actually decided that I would put some boro on it. So I just did a little bit on the lapel there. I did a little bit down the other side, in between a panel. And on the back, I've just done one side of the panel. I haven't put too much on it. I find less is more sometimes. If you do too much, it takes away the impact of what you're doing. So, and I absolutely adore this piece now, and I now use it because it feels like a new garment. So, so you can do that. You can do as much or as little as you like, you know. And I just like the balance of what I've done, just the 3 pieces. You can do a lot more if that's what you wish. Also, I'll show you the inside. So on that panel, I just stitched straight through. You can see on the back here, I've just done straight through. I haven't put any backing on there at all. So, okay. So that's what I've done. So that's a really easy workshop to do, girls, if you'd like to do that, or just something that you can take out of your cupboard and do. You can do jeans as well. Do the patches. I know the kids all love their ripped jeans. I'd love to get hold of them and patch them all. But if you do get a hole in a jean or something you don't particularly like it, you can do some boro over it, and do, you know, multiple pieces. I had a white T-shirt that I'd only bought a couple of days previous, and I was eating some curry. I'm a bit of a messy eater, and I spilt some curry. Curry is really difficult to get out of white T-shirts. So I went and got some lovely pieces of my scraps, and I borrowed the whole of the front of my T-shirt. Looks fantastic. So I liked it so much, I went and did the black one that I had as well. So you can update some old garments or some old shirts that you've got in the cupboard and put some boro. But as I said, less is more. Don't put too much on, just a bit. You know, it's you'll get asked where you bought it from, I'm sure. Yes, okay. This quilt is a queen size quilt. And as you can see, I've used boro and sashiko in alternate rows and blocks. I did this sashiko, all the sashiko, which was 12 sashiko pieces. I did that while traveling in Europe many years ago. I think it was about 8 or 9 years ago. And I finished the 12 blocks while traveling. My husband was driving and I would stitch as we were driving if it wasn't all that interesting around the countryside, but most of the time it was, or if I had some time at night, I'd sit and stitch. And by the time I came home, I had 12 of those done. So then I had to get to and do the 13 of the boro. Now for these, I used 2 jelly rolls of yarn dyed fabrics. I used a chocolate one, a chocolate mix, and I used a burgundy mix. And this is what the result was. This is a beautiful, very simple quilt, and it looks amazing. So that's something that you can do with a pre-printed sashiko panel and some boro that you've just learned, and you can make a beautiful big quilter. This is a queen size one. You don't have to do big size. A small lap size is, great to get started with. So I want to show you that. Also on the back wall, I don't know, unfortunately we can't get a zoom in on that, but as you can see, I've actually done boro pieces that I've inserted into the quilt and combined that with some sashiko, and that's put together in a block situation as well. Those sashiko pieces are all pre-printed as well. So that's another idea. So as you get more confident with your work, your stitching, your sashiko and your boro, then you'll be able to do it whatever you wish. Okay. How does the boro go on stretch fabric? Do you have a stable? Oh, okay. To be quite honest about the stretch fabric, it goes quite well because my t-shirts were a stretch cotton, so they were a bit stretchy. They weren't the proper stretch knit with sort of fabric, but on t-shirts they went quite well. I didn't use a stabilizer or anything, but if you wanted to, you could put a stabilizer, a very, very soft stabilizer on the back of the t-shirt if you wanted to. I probably wouldn't, because I'm not a fan of putting stabilizers on the back of sashiko and boro. I find if you glue it down, it's very difficult to pull the needle through. So I can't answer that question to be truthfully for you, because I don't know if you've got a really stretchy fabric. Just give it a go, see if it works, But most cotton t-shirts, it works fine by just putting the pieces on top and then just doing your stitching. It works just as well as you would any other fabric. Okay. No, sorry, Diane, I couldn't see that. I need new glasses, I think. No, the border is put onto the front of it. So I do my stitching. I then put my 2 borders on, and then I cut my backing. And ladies, you can put a stiffener in the back of it if in between, but I don't particularly like to do that anymore. I was putting a really, really lightweight one, but I find it's not necessary. We've actually got quite a few layers of fabric there that give it lots of structure and strength, that it doesn't need anything on the back in between. So I then just bag it on the back with the fabric that I did on the border, turn it inside out, and just slip stitch the last little piece where I turned it in. So in answer to your question, no, you can do that that way, that you can attach the border to the backing, but I don't particularly like to do that. I prefer to do it the other way. Why is silk so hard to sew in a sashiko needle? Yes, well, it depends on the type of silk. If you've got a really tightly woven silk, it's really, really tightly woven, and to pull a needle through multiple layers of fabric is very hard. It's very hard on your hands, So I actually do have some silk here that I bought for you girls today, and you can see that this is really, I was talking about silks on silks, cottons on cottons, and wools on wools in a previous lesson. And I actually did some stitching of the cotton on this particular piece of silk. Now that's gone quite well, I have to say, but as you can see, this piece of silk is very, very loosely woven. It's not a tight weave. So this one, I don't know. Look, I would be quite happy with that, to be quite honest. If I was truthful, I'd be quite happy with that. It's not pulling at all. Depends. I mean, that's just straight sewing as well. Depends on if they're. It would depend whether they're the complexity of the design that you were putting on there. I think the more complex the design, I would be very wary of putting the cotton on the silk. But just the straight sewing, it seems to be sewing quite well. But in answer to your question, it would depend on the thread count of the silk. And as you can see, this is a beautiful open weave silk. Okay, I hope that answers your question.
Cool. All right. Okay. So Japanese fabrics. My previous business that I had was Indigo Niche. I sold it to a lady by the name of Therese Hurley. She's in Wynnum. Her business is still online, and she is a good source of Japanese fabrics. My mantra was to sell extremely good quality fabrics, and she's taken that over as well. So she also will sell very good quality Japanese fabrics. So if you would like to go on onto her website, that's www.indigoniche.com. She'll have a lot on her website. BB Bold in Lismore, she also has, she's a big Japanese supplier of fabrics as well. I'm not quite sure where else in Brisbane. I think there's a place called Voodoo Rabbit. I think they're at the Gabba, I think. Look, go online and just Google Japanese fabrics Brisbane, and I'm sure there'll be some that will come up for you. But Indigo Niche probably is your best bet for really good, top quality Japanese fabrics in Brisbane. Yes, I don't know of that company, but I'm sure if you need something in particular, that I'm sure they'll get it in Toowoomba. I think there's one in Toowoomba. There's quite a few around near Coffs Harbour and that area. So look, there are a lot of places in Australia now that sell sashiko. It's become very popular over the last 20 years, and a lot of the patchwork shops do sell it now. So yes, did have a lot of. Oh, okay, I've seen that. That shop. Please go and have a look. I might go out there. I'm sure we'll pick up a good bargain there. I can never walk out of a patchwork shop without buying something. There's especially if it's a fabric that I like, I just have to have it. I actually got a parcel this morning. I shouldn't have bought it, but I did, and I love the fabrics. If you've liked the class and you'd like to learn some sashiko, I've got 2 classes coming up in May. They'll be very, very informative, and I'll have some new samples to show you. For the girls that have seen my work over and over again, I will show those, but I want to show some new stuff as well. So thank you very much for joining my online sessions. I hope you've learned something, and bye for now.